Hi, back in the garage. Late night for me because I went ahead and finished the book I showed you before. I was going to get it done. So we start this August 5th. Today's my wife's birthday. Wish her a happy 30th birthday. She'll insist on it. And that's what I'm going to say to her. Um, and so I was getting my stuff ready, just kind of situating. I was kind of up because that book was something. So sometimes you got to digest a good book. Um, and I see that Sean Duffy, the road rules guy, who's the head of Department of Transportation, is now the acting head of NASA, for what it's worth. Uh, he, look, there's a great show on Apple TV called For All Mankind. It is a alternate timeline as if the Russians had landed on the moon first. And in the show, which I'll spoil a little bit for you, they use nuclear powered engines and nuclear reactors for power. They literally land a base on the moon, which is just Mickey Mouse, but is powered by a nuclear reactor. Okay? And that leads to going to Mars, because that was the general big picture race in the 60s and the 70s. That was the plan of NASA until the Russians couldn't get to the moon because their booster rocket failed. Ours did not, being the Saturn V. And Nixon pulled the plug on the space program with Apollo 17. We had plans. We had technology. And that show kind of shows what it would be if the space race continued into the 90s. It's a fascinating show. Great. Based on really good base technology. So Sean Duffy in his somewhere mind said, we're going to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. Why? What's the plan? Are we going to put a base there? We're going to find water. Are we going to mine the moon? I mean, these are things that these guys just throw shit out. They have no idea what it's about. He wants to place the space station. Great. What are you building? What's your plan? Space is not just slapping together something and getting into orbit. It's a different cat. And it costs money. A lot of money. But it's just bullshit. They're just tossing stuff out there to make us feel, yeah, we know what's going on. We're hip. No, you're not. You have no goddamn plan. You have no idea how to run the Department of Transportation, let alone the NASA, and come up with a viable space program. We had one. Republicans killed it. Now we're back to this. Don't give me this shit. Well, back there they were thinking about social. You could have done both at the time. You still could do both if the tax rates are correct. That's a different argument later on. But it tells you the idiocracy we live in. This man has no fucking business being in a cabinet, or being in upper levels of government, let alone NASA. He has no fucking experience other than he's a Trump ass kisser. That's it. So I hear this, and as someone who's a nerd, who's watched launches, used to get up as a kid to watch a launch from California, but I'm not a dummy, and I know how science works and how space program works. I'm not being fooled by this bullshit. They don't give a fuck. This is just more words in a word salad for incompetent a-holes.